There we go. I'm going to go into lesson 4 next week with both the Tuesday, Wednesday. Today I'm going to take you into something a little bit different based on some of the coaching that I got from Bob. And so I just posted in the Facebook group the article Entering into the Spirit of It. And for the rest of you, I'll get it emailed out to you, but I'm going to actually share my screen today. And I'm excited about this because Bob's been teaching more about vibration recently than what he ever has in any other of his seminars or even his conversations. And he stressed to us the importance of people studying this material and understanding the basic laws of the universe. So for the longest time, we've been coaching or we've been sharing, things like so that the laws were incorporated into the lessons, but we didn't necessarily talk about them. Do you see what I'm saying? So, and the reason why was because anytime that things were incorporated, they weren't necessarily accepted. Does that resonate with you guys? But he really believes that the people studying Thinking the Results, they're like amongst the people that are ready now. And that's exciting. So he's encouraged us to then share with you what we've learned. And so one of the best ways to understand vibration and the laws is by studying a gentleman by the name of Thomas Truard. And so what I'm going to do is take you through an article today and some teachings by Thomas. And this is Bob's, he says it's his greatest mentor. Now, he wasn't living with Bob. Stuff was written in the 1900s. I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can use what Mr. Truard's saying in his articles that you can use throughout these lessons in TIR. How does that sound? Awesome. Okay, so I also want to say that the reason why it hasn't been introduced is that a lot of people haven't been ready. So what that means is it's awareness, isn't it? So all of this is awareness. And as we study, we become more aware. So wherever you are in the program, it's really a level of awareness. And as you go through it more, you're going to become more aware of this information. It's like anything. If I was to start studying engineering, the beginning of my year 1 in university, I would have a lower level of awareness. Does that make sense? And then by level 4, I'll have more of an advanced level. So what you're going to get today is very much based on that level of awareness. And you can see that none of it is good or bad. Do you see that? It just is. Okay, so that's really important to understand and know that you will get exactly what you need to move you to the next level. Do you also get that too? Yeah, good. So it's important. Bob kept saying to us this weekend, it just is. It just is. Like everything just is. He's like, we put the label right, wrong, good, bad. Are we enough or not enough? He's like, stop doing that. Because it doesn't serve us. Like all of this just is. We are here today in this level of awareness or wherever we are towards our goal or not, right? Today is what we have. And it just is. And it really, it was interesting to see. He was very, I want to say strict with us in a way. He kept telling us he's like, stop it. Like someone would say something and about, I don't know, someone even said they were tired because we were working till midnight and up at 5, right? And he's like, really? And this one girl was like, oh man, I'm tired. He's like, stop it. Stop it. Stop saying that. He's like, do you want to be tired today? And she's like, no. He's like, stop it. It just is. You're feeling like a little bit like maybe you can't focus that much. And if you can acknowledge where you are, right, and why you're here. So you might hear some of that come out with me a little bit. But anyway, it was a very amazing 5 or 6 days. I have so much to share with you guys. So this is the beginning. I thought, I asked what's best to take home. And he said, we need to teach people to how to get into the spirit of what they're doing. That will make a profound difference in their life. So that's why I'm here teaching you that today. Okay. But before we get started, I'd like to share some wins. I am recording this, especially because yesterday I was still in training. So we'll put this one up for this week for everyone to watch, okay? So for those of you that are on the call and you have your video on, that's a really great way to let me know that you're ready to share a win or participate. So I see Carol and Christy and Giselle on my screen so far. Anyone of you like to unmute yourself and share?
Okay, I can go. I guess my win was getting to my team's a smaller training last weekend. Been doing all this work, and I feel like I'm really getting ahead with this, but I felt like I was losing that connection with my business. So that really renewed it. It was with one of our top leaders who think of her as a rock star and everybody should know her, but so it was amazing, and it renewed that belief also.
That's awesome. And did they notice anything with you? Actually,
Kisma did. Some pictures. She noticed that I looked different in the pictures, which was very interesting.
It's interesting that you say that. I think many of you know that I was taught about how to read people by Bob this week. And he shared with us what happens because the body is the spirit of the mind, right? A body is the instrument of the mind, right? So that means that our face shape changes as we become more aware. And there's scientific proof of this.
Wow. Yeah, it was actually your hair too, and everything. The way you stood, Carol, your hair, your clothing. Like I could just get a good sense that you totally blossomed from when I first met you when we were doing the boot camp, like first time. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Congrats, Carol. That's great.
And Carol, I think you're forgetting another win about a JOB.
Oh, did I only? I thought I shared that, but that was with you guys. Oh my gosh. Yes, I did manifest a job.
Well,
I thought I shared it with you guys here, but no, it was with
congratulations.
With a smaller group. Thank you. And it's just half time, which works perfectly with my life plans. And
amazing. And how did all that come about?
Oh my gosh. So she hadn't advertised. My cousin was at a luncheon with a group of girls, and she does bookkeeping for clients, and she mentioned that she was going to have to start looking for somebody. So my cousin mentioned me. I sent her an email. She gave me a call and said, why didn't you come in? I talked to her, and she said, when can you start? So it was like, I didn't apply for it. I didn't have an interview, really. It just happened. And that she actually said she just wanted it to happen organically, is what she said. She wasn't going to advertise.
That's amazing. Amazing. Congratulations. Exactly how things work.
Exactly.
So cool. It's great. Well, that's a great win. Good way to start off. Who else would like to share? Thanks for calling that one out, Christy and Kisma. That's good. Well, who's next?
I'll share a win.
Thank you.
So for me, it was the fact that ever since I can remember, I've been a night owl. I'm always going to bed at 2 a.m. in the morning I still get up with my kids, I still get them off to school, but I drag my feet all day. And then I get my burst of energy right before around 11 o'clock, and then I'm up till 2 a.m. again. So one of the things that I had set out to do was to become a morning person. And I've been getting up at 6 a.m. I've been getting in meditation. I've been doing my journaling, and I'm going to bed earlier, which is a shocker and a half. And even my husband's shocked. He's like, "You're going to bed before me? Like, that never happens." And we've been married 16 years. So yeah, I've been doing that. And also, I've been really focusing on my program and getting that stuff done. And figuring out my goal was really big last week, and getting the wording right so it felt right to me, and I got that done as well. And yeah, now it's just a matter of, now that I know I can be a morning person, which I never thought I could be, now it's including other things. So I want to, work out in there. So I want to make sure I include that and things like that. I know I can do it because I've done this part. So that was a super big win for me.
That's amazing. I know a few of you can relate to Giselle's story there about becoming a morning person. That's amazing. And you're right. It's just the beginning, right? So when we get up like this with that kind of intention, it really does affect the rest of your day and your productivity. And so your paradigm was controlling that. It controls our use of time, and especially how we get up and what we do right away. So right there, you broke down that existing paradigm, do you see? And you shook it all up, which is huge. Yeah, that's amazing.
One thing that I used to do is I used to sit in front of the TV at night. And as soon as my kids would go to bed, I'd start binge watching whatever I wanted to watch. And then I'd be up till 2 o'clock in the morning. And I don't remember the last time I've watched TV really. I watched an hour with my kids the other night. And other than that, in the last week, I think that was the only hour I watched a TV, which was a shocking thing to realize.
That's amazing. And think of that all the time. Well, there's a couple things that come to mind as you say that. Like when you're watching TV, a lot of the time we're relaxed. So our subconscious mind's wide open. So what you hear on that TV, whether it's real or not, is going right in there, and that becomes part of your reality. And if you think about that, because we're relaxed, that actually, we start to manifest, like, no kidding, some of the things we see. And you can see it relate, like you can see it playing out in people's lives. Like it might not be obvious, you might not, I don't know, like you might be watching a cop show or something and you might not get arrested. I'm not saying something like that, but like you'll see that how it manifests in the way that you, your feelings that you attach to it. So like if there's anxiety or a feeling of rush or nervousness, like those things come out. Mm-hmm. So that's really good, let alone that all the time that you have. That's great. Well done. Cool win. That's great. Anyone else?
I'll share.
Awesome. Thanks, Shonda.
It's 3:30 in the morning.
I was going to say, wait a second. It's 3:30 in the morning.
I am up. It is day 3. I'm getting up super early. And I've found affirmations that feel so good.
Wow.
And I'm exercising first thing in the morning. I'm doing stairs right now.
Wow.
And it feels really good.
Wow. I'm so impressed. I actually had to check my well done, Shonda.
Yeah. And I don't feel tired through my day or anything. I go to bed earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well done. Holy, that's great. What a commitment.
Yeah.
At the conference, there were quite a few people that reported getting up at about 3:30 as well, actually. And they were high performers. So that's great. Well done, Shonda. Okay, anyone else?
Yeah. I was just going to say, I use Stevie's affirmation. Not I'm a runner and runners run, but I am a successful entrepreneur, and a successful entrepreneur wakes up early and works out, gets uncomfortable, and what's the other one? I forget. I'm out of breath.
That's
But
awesome.
anyways.
That's awesome. Keeping it simple. That's awesome. Well done. Holy. Who else is inspired by that? Yeah. Cool. All right. One last win. See Shelly, Stine, Maria. Shelly. Okay. Oh, we'll do both. So Maria.
Go quick. Okay. So I have I have a very busy life all the time with kids, with every time, because I work from home. Anytime that I'm actually available, I'm out the door. And this weekend I didn't have the kids, and usually I'm doing a million things. I took all morning to go sit at the park in front of the lake. I did my meditation. I did my affirmations. I wrote them out with my left hand. I wrote out some of my life script, or my memory of my sixth goal achieved or whatever.
Yeah.
I did some of that. It just felt so amazing. I was in front of the lake. I needed to feel water near me. And then on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, I went to the beach with my friends with the raining, and it was raining and it was kind of windy and cold. We set up a tent, and as soon as it cleared up, I was just out in front of the ocean, just kind of feeling, it was just amazing. So.
That's awesome. That self-care and doing this work. That's awesome. Nature is a really great way to raise your vibration, right? So being by water or trees. Yeah, that's good. Very cool. I love your energy this morning.
I just worked out too, so.
I'm pulling that towards me.
Yes, I'm radiating it.
Thanks. All right. Can you share, Shelly?
Yeah. So this past week, just trying to think. So between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, I was able to achieve an incentive level that our leader in our company set for us. And it's a small one, but when I first started a while ago, it was a big one, in my mind anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier in the month when she set the incentive, I looked at it and I'm not, I scrolled past the post in the Facebook group. I didn't even think yeah, okay, whatever. I'm not doing that. But earlier last week, I made a big decision in my network marketing company and decided I'm running it. And so in 2 or 3 days, I raised the it's called QV, or the dollar amount that I needed to achieve the incentive to qualify for the next level in our company, which then also qualified me for the incentive that she set up, which is a retreat for the next level managers in our company. So even though I'm not a district manager yet, I'm only qualified as to step to the next level because I achieved that qualifying value. I know some of this doesn't make sense to some of you guys, but because I achieved that, I get to go to the district manager retreat next week. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well done. Doesn't take a lot of time necessarily, right? So Shelly said something that was very important. Did you hear a word, a D word? What was it, Maria?
Decided.
Yeah, decision, Carol. Yes. How did you make a decision, Shelly? How did you make a committed decision? What can you say about that?
I'm trying to think what I just kind of had an inspired thought last weekend because I'm working on restructuring my virtual assistant business, and all these ideas, and I'm going all these directions, and then I had this inspired thought that I already have this other business, my network marketing business, that is basically turnkey. I just need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I don't know. It just snapped like that. And it was like, okay, well, that's it. That's the goal. I'm doing it.
Yeah. Can you share what it felt like? Like, did you know that you had made a committed decision?
Yeah. And I don't think I would have known that before this material, but I knew that I knew as soon as it happened, I knew that I'd made the decision. I knew, like, and I was able to relate that to the material.
And is there anything that you can share? Because one of the biggest questions I get, so we know we need to make a committed decision, but like people always ask how, or how do I know? And it's like I've said before, it's kind of like that in love feeling. But is there any sort of insight that you can give?
So there's emotion attached to it for me. There's a big trip that we can earn in our company, and it's to travel south, which I've never done before, and my family has never done before, and I really want to be able to take them on that trip. And I'm like getting like emotional right now. I'm gonna cry. So there's like huge emotion attached to it for me. So
yeah,
it made it easy to make the decision.
Yeah, good. And when you've made that decision, there's those two questions, like with an absolute astounding yes must come through. It's, are you willing to pay the price, whatever that price is, right?
Yeah.
And are you able? And through the material, we gain an understanding that we're able. And then what happens is when the decision's made, like, it's done in that vortex of the ether. So once we can see it on the screen of our mind and we can become emotionally involved, it's done. And Shelley, when you add the emotion to it, you raise your vibration and you go to that goal achieved, and then the things are attracted to you that are needed. Have a seat, honey. Thank you. And when that happens, there's a feeling about it, like when Shelley talks about, like what she shared. And I'd recommend, like, if you aren't sure, then you probably haven't made it. And to continue to add emotion to it, it's like you get attached to, like, no, like, now's the time, right? Now is the time. And the more that you impress it on your mind, the more committed you become. Does that resonate with you guys? Yeah, it's really good. Really good. Congratulations, Shelley. That's amazing. It's going to be awesome to watch, how things come to you now, right? So by law, they come, and it won't always be easy. And you'll actually notice that on the other side of any sort of stumbling blocks or no's will be the biggest growth, and therefore wins. Yeah, good. Really good. All right, I've got a little daughter up already. What are you doing up? You just woke up. Do you want to come sit again? All right, we're going to do some reading. You want to help me? Yeah. Okay. All right, so this is Thomas Truard. We're going to share our screen. Thomas Truard, you can learn a bit about him. I decided to get The Hidden Power because it has a variety of his papers, published papers, and they're like little essays. And Thomas Truard lived around like the early 1900s. And the one that we're going to read, I think, was written in 1903. And Bob studies him every day and has been for a very long time. Thomas Truard, he only had one person he mentored, and it was a woman named Genevieve Barrand. And Genevieve Barrand, you can actually get she has a book called The Invisible Power. So Genevieve Barand actually manifested her way into Thomas Trueur's life. And she shares the story about how she did it. And it's remarkable because he never took on students. He refused to teach people. And he studied the mind back in early 1900s. And Genevieve Barand has Your Invisible Power on YouTube. And I posted it before in our group. It's definitely worth listening to. And she was all about how to manifest. And she actually studied and taught manifestation in the early 1900s. Can you imagine? And she has amazing proof as to how we bring this into our life through, this was all science. And she would work with people and have them manifest things from there's a story of her manifesting $20,000 back in, think about how much that would be now. So I recommend that you, as we get into this, that you get into those two people. Now, when I first picked up this, I actually put it aside for probably 18 months to 2 years, because I heard Bob talk about this, but my level of awareness wasn't there to understand what it was. Okay, so that's okay. We're going to do it today so that you can get an idea of what we're talking about. And you'll know that when it resonates, and that's a great thing. And when it doesn't, it's okay too. Everyone visualizes whether he knows it or not. Visualizing is the great secret of success. I know. And Thomas Trueur says, having seen and felt the end, you have willed the means to the realization of the end. What's that mean? Shelley, this is kind of what Shelley was just saying, isn't it? What does that mean to you, Shelley? Based on what you just shared.
So it goes back to the visualization and getting emotional about the end result that you want. So being able to see yourself in that goal, and then you can realize what you need to do for that. Right?
Yeah, good. Yeah, and then you're willing the means, right? So our will is that mental muscle to focus on one thing to the exclusion of all others. So that's why it's important to have one goal, right? One personal and one professional, because you need to focus on that to the exclusion of all other things. And when you do that, when you focus through your will, you will the means, don't you? That's what he's also saying. So seen and felt, we know emotion in our visualization is important, and the realization is the completion of the goal. Good. Auto-suggestion. Bob he's been studying a paragraph of entering into the spirit of it. One paragraph, this page, since the December, what did he say? It would be December 2017. Yeah. So over a year, he's been studying one paragraph of this work every day. And he reminded us of the power of autosuggestion. And he also reminded us, he said, 58 years now, every day, reading Think and Grow Rich. Not one day has gone by. 58 years. So the autosuggestion is very important. Also, this idea of relaxing your mind so that we can accept what we're learning today. So you want to make sure both feet are on the ground, that you are allowing yourself to relax when you read, and very much focus. And when we do that, we allow these ideas to go into our subconscious mind faster. Okay. And he also made sure that we were remembering to use the exercise, and I thought this was very fitting in lesson 3. And I said, I just did that. And we just implemented that in our group calls. So that was very cool. So we're the only one that's actually doing that, I found out. So they had me speaking from stage yesterday about that again.
And you were on a panel.
I was, and then they invited me back up because Bob heard that I was doing this. So I got to share about you guys. So auto-suggestion, I saw Giselle, you were asking about auto-suggestion. For now, you can use a very simple I am statement. Like I am a runner, or I'm a leader, right? And that you can repeat. And then when you get to lesson 4, you'll get your affirmations. Okay, we don't want to visualize yet. Okay, what we're going to do is go into entering into the spirit of it. And I need to share my screen. So you're welcome to go and download this from the group if you want to have it with you right now. But if not, can you see this? Yeah, is it big enough to read, Maria? Yeah, okay, great. Okay, here we go. So make some notes that resonate if you don't have the copy in front of you, just so that you can kind of highlight and go back. And let's follow around. So let's follow this. So the Hidden Power by Thomas Treuer, this is chapter 18. Entering into the spirit of it. Entering into the spirit of it. What a common expression. And yet how much it really means, how absolutely everything. We enter into the spirit of an undertaking, into the spirit of a movement, into the spirit of an author, even into the spirit of a game. And it makes all the difference, both to us and to that into which we enter. Now, what does into the spirit of it mean? Just from that first sentence, what does that mean to you?
I feel like it's like acting as if you're already that person at your goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done. That's great. So and he says he enter into the spirit of it makes a difference to both us and the thing we enter into, right? So if we are entering into the spirit of a leader, Maria, like for you in your company, it makes a difference for you and who you're being and who you're showing up for and how you see yourself, but also the organization. Does that resonate? A game without any spirit is a poor affair, and an association in which there is no spirit falls to pieces, and a spiritless undertaking is sure to be a failure. So if we're doing something, and what comes to mind here, if we're doing something that's going through the motions, we know this, right? If we're just going through the motions, it's sure to be a failure. But if we actually say, okay, what does it mean to be in the spirit of that leader? What does that mean? And how can we show up as it? But we have to see it in our mind first, don't we? We have to decide, like Shelley has. On the other hand, the book, which is meaningless to the unsympathizing reader, is full of life and suggestion to the one who enters into the spirit of the writer. Okay, this is huge. So Bob kept saying to us that the reason why he repeats the same paragraph over and over and over and reads the same page and Think and Grow Rich is because he is entering into the spirit of the writer. He believes Thomas Treuer is one of he believes he's at the forefront of mental science. Like he understood the subconscious mind better than anyone else alive or living or dead. And so when he goes in, he wants to have that spirit of Thomas Treuer run to and through him,
Dead.
So that he gets the most of it. I'm going to keep going.
Mommy, you said dead. You
Dead or
meant
alive? Yeah.
No, you should have said without their
physical body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
he's
So
dead.
Eloise is teaching me something, that death doesn't really exist.
Because they're only in their spirit bodies. They're
Yeah.
like they just go out.
Right. Yeah, you're right. So what she's doing, what you mean is that because even though his physical body is not here, right, you can attract that spirit of that person to you and that energy to and through you. And that's absolutely right. And that is what you can see the difference, right? And we can see this actually in Bob when he's on stage, because he is like actually channeling these people through to and through them, their spirit. Does that make sense? And you can do it too in anything you're doing, because energy can't be created or destroyed. And Bob, when he had us in the private room, just the 12 of us, he said that absolutely, like, he knows without a shadow of a doubt that that's what he's doing by entering into the spirit of it. So he's attracting that energy. Isn't that cool? It's cool for all of us, isn't it? The man who enters into the spirit of the music finds a spring of refreshment in some fine recital, which is entirely missed by the cold critic who comes only to judge according to the standard of a rigid rule. Okay. So the man who enters into the spirit of music finds a spring of refreshment in some fine recital, which is entirely missed by the cold critic, who comes only to judge according to the standard of a rigid rule. And so on in every case that we can think of. So that reminds me, like, you know, in our present day, often these, you know, geniuses aren't even recognized, are they? Because of the rigid rules of what people want in society right now. Yeah, you can. Just a moment, okay. If we do not enter the spirit of a thing, it has no invigorating effect upon us. If we do not enter the spirit of a thing, it has no invigorating effect upon us. That's important. And we regard it as dull, insipid, and worthless. But think about this in anything that you do. If we don't enter into the spirit of it, this is when our perception of something is going to feel like a waste of time. Do you want to read this?
Okay.
This is our everyday experience, and these are the words in which we express it.
Express it.
And the words we are well chosen. They show our intuitive recognition of the spirit of the fundamental reality in everything.
That's good.
However small or however great.
Okay, so let me talk about that one for a minute. Very good reading, honey. So our intuitive recognition of the spirit as the fundamental reality in everything. Okay, this is important. He also taught, what, just a moment.
Let's scroll down.
Oh, do I have to go?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So our intuitive recognition of the spirit as the fundamental reality in everything, however small or great. Oh, in each piece and everything we're doing, our intuitive factor can recognize the spirit. It's going to recognize the energy. Let us be right as to the spirit of a thing, and everything else will successfully follow. I want you to underline that when you get to it. So let me read this again. Let us be right as to the spirit of a thing, and everything else will successfully follow. So Shelley, this is what you have been doing, right? This is why by law, everything that you need will follow, because of your entering into it. So he says this, by entering into a spirit of anything, we establish a mutual vivifying action and reaction between it and ourselves. What does that mean? Now see? By entering into the spirit of anything, we establish a mutual vivifying action and reaction between it and ourselves.
I feel like it's...
I was just going to say, it reminds me of kind of like a mastermind. Like, because you have your like you have your spirit and the spirit of what you're attracting, or of what you're like entering into. So it's like you've created kind of like a mastermind.
Yeah, very good. And you've connected to it, haven't you, Stine?
We kind of bring it to life, right?
Yeah.
And then, what we impress upon our subconscious becomes our action, and then the external will react to our actions, right? So if we bring it to life, then that's what the environment will react to.
Yeah, you got it.
Will kind of propel that that action that we want, or the goal that we want to reach, right?
Yeah, that's really good. So what you're talking about is like the cause and effect, and because how you've entered into the spirit of it, when you create the cause, the effect has to be in line with that goal achieved, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah, that's really good. And between it and ourselves, between the spirit of it, so the goal, it would be the goal, and ourselves in our present form. Does that make sense?
I feel like I've been, and I think the visualization has definitely helped so much with this. Like, I've been seriously visualizing myself, exactly what I'm wearing, exactly me going on stage, everything so vividly that, I've been doing this for 3.5 years now, this business for 3.5 years, and I have never gotten the response, and people actually messaging me, asking me, I need to do what you're doing. That it, I'm attracting, and I feel that has never happened that way before. It's always been me reaching out. The fact that people are actually reaching out to me, I feel like I'm in that spirit of that leader, of that,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And so I want to go on, build on that. So Maria, for you, when you enter into the spirit of it and you can see the visualization of your goal, I want you to also think about everyday life of when you're entering into the spirit of it. And I just had someone, it's on my personal Facebook page, I think they tagged me in a video that I did. When you create lesson 6, your self-image of who you are with this goal achieved, you enter into the spirit of that person. Do you see? And where we think to go is the big event, right? Because we create the future memory of when the goal is achieved. So maybe it's like being on stage or taking kids to Disneyland, something like that, right? So it's like something that your goal is achieved, and you see yourself as that leader in that big event. And what I want to impress upon you, like this idea that it's very important to figure out your day-to-day small things and how you're living and how you're entering into the spirit of it. So for example, like with your goal achieved, perhaps you've tripled or whatever your income, you've built your team, so you've got 100 people on your team. So in that person, like that version of you, that's who you're entering into the spirit of right now, and in your everyday tasks. So it doesn't matter how small or how big it is, how related to what your team or your goal it is now, you still do the things as that person. So like I use the example of like how you open the fridge door. Like because you'd have a different posture, or how you would drive your car, how you do the laundry as that person. Thank you, honey. Okay. Does that make sense? So through those little meaningless tasks, we must be into the spirit of it. Does that resonate with you guys? Because the version of Maria at the top of her company and the Maria now is still going to be doing some of those things. And it's very important that you enter into the spirit. You can see how we kind of go back, don't we? And we think, oh, well, when I get there, when I'm on stage, that's what I'll be. But what they're saying is that it must be right now. It must be on everything, how you show up for absolutely everything. So for example, if you look at Stine and her journey becoming a runner, you had to become what it meant to be like an athletic runner in all areas of your life before you actually started running marathons, right?
Yes, so that spilled into, for instance, it also spilled into diet, for instance, because I was noticing that if I just ate my regular diet, I was feeling bloated if I was running. And so it has this ripple effect into being a runner. To me means many more things than simply putting the shoes on and running those 3 days a week or 4 days a week, right?
Yeah, that's good. And yeah, that's really good. I like that. The diet one's an easy one to see. But she had to like enter in the spirit of that and change up her food before she ran before that like big visualization she had, quote unquote big, nothing's big or small, but of like running the race. You see that? It's a really easy example for us to see. So what else, like, I really encourage you to think of all those areas and where else you need to enter into the spirit of it. And really that the reality is everything we do. It's good.
I think that even like, and as you're saying that, like everything's popping up to my head, like team calls, mentor calls, one-on-one calls, like things that I don't have right now because my team isn't there, but I have to start, even if no one shows up for a team call, like hold the team call regardless.
Totally. Yeah, boom, you got it. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, and let's say when you're at a group event, right, with maybe other team members from other teams, how are you dressing, meeting and greeting people? Are you meeting and greeting people as if you're at the top of the company? Yeah, really good. It's great. And that's going to look different for each of you for all your goals, but you can see it in that example, right? Good. All right. So by entering into the spirit of anything, we establish a mutual vivifying action and reaction between it and ourselves. We vivify it with our own vitality, and it vivifies us with a living interest, which we call its spirit. So we give this life. So if Stina's a runner, she runs, she's going to give that image of her life through repetition and seeing herself there. And then the idea then gives her energy back because she's excited about it. You see that? And therefore, the more fully we enter into the spirit of all with which we are concerned, the more thoroughly do we become alive. And we see that with people like those with a goal, right? We look different to people that don't have goals. Have you noticed that in your community?
Yeah, when it says alive, it's alive as that in that imagined reality as our new goal, right?
Yeah,
like you said.
Yeah, that's good. Really good. The more completely we do this, the more we shall find that we are penetrating into the great secret of life. It may seem a truism, but the great secret of life is its livingness. That's huge. What's livingness? What's another word for livingness?
Liveness.
Yeah. And what does that mean?
Vibration, high vibration, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else? What else comes to mind?
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
Like what?
What's that?
Sorry.
We're creating.
Yeah. I think just experiencing, right? Like experiencing what we want.
Danielle?
Yeah.
To me, it's Tina. To me, it's like aliveness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what would you say about that? What makes us alive?
Well, I love everything you've been talking about this morning, because it's like you're merging and you're bringing together what we do as a shaman to everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
And before, I always kept them separate. They were two separate worlds for me.
Yeah.
And now, as you're reading this, you're showing a way of bringing them together in your regular life. So I just want to comment on that.
That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just to piggyback off of that, Danielle, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
In my accountability reading in the mornings with Christy, we've kind of talked about how, and like Tina is saying right now, this really penetrates life. We can't have a hat and put on personal development between, in my case, 3:30 in the morning and 5, and then go on with my life.
Mm-hmm.
This is in everything we do, right? It kind of penetrates, it kind of permeates everything we do, like Tina was saying too.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think about like the reality of our society at the moment is that if we really look around, most people are walking around not really present, are they? Not really thinking, not really with that being alive.
And they look at you. Mm-hmm. They look at you like you're weird. Why are you doing this? And it's so cool being kind of where I'm at now and the awareness that I am now, and being able to see the difference between where I was before, where I like, why would you do affirmations, or why would you do gratitude, and how they're looking at me because they're not at the same level of awareness. Like, well, I feel
what's interesting is that they, like, people want to feel alive, right?
And you give them the, hey, this is what you have to do. Just even as simple as, what are you grateful for? And people look at you like, what do you mean? Mm-hmm. Well, it's as simple as that. And they want to feel that amazing feeling you're feeling, but then they also don't want to put in the work for it, and they look at you like you're weird. But I think it's funny.
There's like, and there's baby steps to that, right? So there's ways that we can make a difference with the people in our lives by having this livingness, being alive, like Tina was saying, and really stepping into getting into the spirit of everything we do so that we can affect the people around us as well. Good. That's great. And those that resonate with it and those will come and start asking and be attracted to what we're doing. Okay. It says, and I'm going to make sure we get time for visualization. So I'll finish up with this sentence. And it is just more of this quality of livingness that we want to get hold of. It is that good thing of which we can never have too much. But that every fact implies also its negative, and we never properly understand a thing until we do not only know what it is, but also clearly understand what it is not. So everything has that opposite. So there is, and that's what we were just talking about. There's some people, you can really see the people that are not living in their livingness, right? The great secret of life is its livingness. And he says that we can't understand one thing. We can't understand what it means to enter into the spirit of it and truly be living, like have that livingness, unless we know what it's not. So to acknowledge there's that polar opposite, but the reality is it just is, right? There may be both sides of positive and negative, but the reality is everything just is, and we give it that polar and opposite, and it's important to know what something is by knowing what it is not. It's very, very, very good. If we only got done one page, I was thinking we would get through it all. But you can see, like, isn't this incredible? Like this writing, that all this was from 1900. To me, it just blows my mind. It's very powerful, and it will take us some time to get through it. And that's okay too. Because like Bob, he reads one paragraph, right? We read a page today, which is a lot more than Bob studies. But he said that he would, so like just to give you an example of how he studies, that last paragraph that I just read, by entering into the spirit of anything, we establish a mutual vivifying action and reaction between it and ourselves until that livingness part. That's what he would study for 1.5 years, and he would break down each word. And he's like, why did he use, because every word is here for an example. So he'd say, why would he talk about an action and reaction between it and ourselves? Isn't that interesting? Like, it's, to me, it's like not how I was taught to read or study, really. And I got really present to how grateful I am that Bob dedicated 60 years to this. No one else has done that. No one else has done that. And without him doing things like this, we wouldn't have this understanding and knowledge in our lives right now. Do you guys see that? What an incredible thing this is.
And to be able to recognize it so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like he breaks it down in such a way that's so easy to understand.
Yeah. And that's the magic. And he said he had to, because he didn't understand it himself, right? Great. Okay, we're going to spend a couple minutes visualizing now. So what I'd like you to do is to put both feet on the ground and turn off your video for me, and I'll do the same. And I will mind the time. And I will take you through the time, and I'll bring you back. So everyone, if you turn off your video, put both feet on the ground, and I'll mute myself and then come back when we're ready. So we'll start with getting you relaxed. Please close your eyes. I'd like you to picture the lavender energy swirling above your head. And take a deep breath in and out. And the lavender energy is moving through into the crown of your head. And as it moves through your body, it's relaxing your body. I want you to notice your body. Notice your shoulders relaxing. And really smile into your shoulders. Smile into that area of your body. Deep breath in and out. And that lavender energy moves down through your torso and through your arms, and it's relaxing your body. Down through your legs. And notice your body as it moves down through your feet. Feel that your feet on the ground. Smile into your body and relax. All right. I'd like you to visualize yourself as your goal achieved and enter into the spirit of it. I'd like you to create a quote unquote normal experience in your mind, something that you'd be doing every day, maybe driving the kids to school or grocery shopping or doing something that you normally do, the dishes, with your goal achieved. I'd like you to enter into the spirit of that as your goal achieved for the next few minutes in your visualization, and really feel what it feels like to have your goal achieved in this everyday thing. Who are you being? How are you acknowledging yourself and the people around you? Okay, welcome back. Well done. Oh, isn't that amazing? Great way to start the day. Thank you for being on today and sharing your wins and what you are up to. I'd love to hear from more of you. So if you have wins, please put them in the group. We have Wednesday wins today. We'll be on the Q&A at 5. So send me your questions and we'll continue. Let me think about how we can continue with the reading of entering into the spirit of it so that you get that. We'll move into lesson 4 next week.
Danielle, why don't you take the 15 minutes of reading that you're doing and read the spirit, entering into the spirit instead of Think and Grow Rich?
Mm-hmm. So the next chapter. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, really great. Cool. I think there's something to that. This article, you know, it's very obvious that we're going to need repetition in the reading of the article, right? And so if it's in the Facebook group, then at least you'll get it, won't you, Christy? That's great. Cool. All right.
This is one of the articles in the resources.
It's in the file section of Facebook, and I'm going to get it emailed out to you guys as well. And Shonda does the newsletter, so she's gonna do that. And yeah, it's in the Hidden Power as well. So you'll see it has the inner circle. So it's what Bob's teaching us in the inner circle. So you're going to see that is in the branding. Great. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Have an awesome day. Well done. Go enter into the spirit of it as you go brush your teeth and get ready for your day, right? All right. Expect abundance, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.